I'd like to invite actually Soumaya.
I will present more the process of this deliverable, realization of this deliverable than the content. So allow me just 1 minute to present our unit. It's one of the least known UN agencies. So we are from United Nations University, so it's a system that is realizing different type of research and training institute and trying to bridge between education, so academic field, with the research, the policy making, and different UN agencies. So this is our main mission, which is to contribute to research, education, dissemination of knowledge, and advisory service. So we are one of the unit of this system, so UNU-EGOV, dedicated to electronic governance. So we joined U4SSC a couple of years ago, and we are leading the project Blockchain for City, which has the objective of understand and assess the effective contribution of blockchain to develop sustainable, smart cities. And the objective is to create a framework that will help policymakers to assess and design the use of blockchain for smart, sustainable cities. So basically, we anchored this report, or this deliverable, in the SDG 11, and we focused on these elements that are cities, human settlements, inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. So the main idea here is not to promote blockchain technology, but to analyze the potential and the transformative effects of blockchain technology for communities and cities. So we are more advocating for a responsible use of a blockchain towards smart, sustainable cities. So this is why we are adopting a socio-technical perspective that is going a little bit beyond of the unique aspect of technology. So the main question that we are trying to answer in this deliverable is how blockchain technology can contribute to make cities smarter and sustainable. So to realize that, our approach was to collect secondary data and primary data through questionnaires to city managers, interviews with different experts and startuppers like head and managers of startups that are working with cities and using blockchain technology, and of course studying smart cities and communities challenges. So we found out our research on the challenges, smart city challenges, and we collected with the help, thanks to the experts that are participating to this deliverable, more than 12 use cases and case studies on blockchain for cities. And these case studies, if I'm able to go toward the case studies. So they are all ongoing. So there is no finalized use cases of blockchain. Some are at advanced stage, others are at the beginning, and others are still at the planning phases from different cities, Amsterdam, Barcelona, from Nordic countries and UK. So different cities are participating in different topics. So based on that, all this aspect helped us to define a preliminary framework. And this framework is actually taking into consideration the context of the cities and settlements. So we integrated communities based on the feedback from the city managers, urban and local challenges that the use of blockchain can answer to, not only the benefit, but also the challenges and the risk related to the use of blockchain, and the definition of technical solution and what are the requirements, what we need as a city to change or transform or acquire or develop as capabilities, and the compliance with the SDGs, but also data protection, privacy, and ethical issues in the use of blockchain. So it was more a back and forth between data and framework to develop our framework, and we are answering through the framework in three main questions. Is it effective, the use of blockchain? So is it relevant to use blockchain? So we are not promoting the use of blockchain, but more analyzing the use of blockchain. So we developed a decision-making tool that is helping through a set of questions to better understand, based on the context, the technical aspects, so if it should be used, and if it's relevant for the city, what type of blockchain should be used, and to understand what are the resources and capabilities needed to develop this type of blockchain, and providing some recommendation to develop this this technology to be used in the city. This cannot be relevant if it's not smart, so we also developed at UNU-EGOV a framework that is taking into consideration the 6 elements of smartness and integrated it in the process, taking into consideration, as I said, is an ongoing process from the input, the transformation, the resources, and the output of smartness. And we combine this effectiveness, the smartness, to sustainability. So we are also verifying or analyzing if the use of blockchain technology by cities and communities is sustainable. So not only to reply to the SDG 11, but to see if it's impacting on other type of SDG, like is it helping or supporting or contributing to have a stronger institution? Is it helping and supporting the growing the infrastructure, etc., etc. So we are checking different type of SDG and how it can support the adoption of blockchain, other SDG. So this is mainly our framework, and we are at phase 3, which is the Delphi study. So now that we have developed our framework, we need to test it and to validate it. And we are translating this framework into a set of questions that will be submitted to the experts, but also to the authors of case studies that use cases and case study to refine their case study and to have a concrete test of this framework. And with that, we will be able to develop a final version of blockchain for a smart, sustainable city and communities framework that is taking into consideration the 3 elements. So the relevancy of the technology, the smartness of the technology and decision of adopting blockchain, the sustainability of blockchain technology for city. We will be providing as well key consideration for blockchain for cities in terms of design and implementation, and policy recommendation for city managers to adopt this technology. So the next phases in this deliverable is to collect the data using this questionnaire of the Delphi study, so collecting and analyzing the data, and then that will help us to develop the final version of the framework, and that will lead us to be able, so this deliverable will be divided in 4 chapters. The first 2 chapters, the introduction and the first 2 chapters are already written, so they are, the first one is related to the blockchain technology and the use of blockchain technology. The second one is blockchain technology for cities, so for smart cities. So it's more focusing on the challenges of smart cities and the integration of blockchain to solve or respond to these challenges. And the third chapter will be the next step, which is the framework. And the last chapter will be the key consideration and policy recommendation. So we are hoping to, aiming to have a review of the first full draft of the deliverable by December internally at UNU-EGOV, and a second review by a selected reviewer among the experts by January, and we will then be able to do the publication process. So thank you, and I will be happy to answer to any question if you have questions.